Listen, there is so much in this life. Only the wise can survive. You go back to me, love you, I don't care nothing more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Jhay, one of the finest voices in the industry right now. Steve, now, let me refine my question. How do you convince people like this to say that what they are singing is Fuji? That is my question. Do you understand?
Answer that question.
Yes.
This is actually Fuji. Fuji is a spiritual language on its own. It's a language. Let me tell you something. I'm happy this thing is happening today. Let me tell you something. No matter how they mention the 3 first genres of music in Africa or worldwide, Fuji music must come second or third. Because the kind of music we do now, listen to everybody that is on their A game like prison. Everybody does Fuji music. So you can never say it doesn't exist. You live for life. Even my child must do that. Yes, that's what I live for. God bless you.
Barry Jhay. So that question, what we need to do, Steve Ayinde, is not make the mistake, gentlemen of the camera,
to present Fuji music and the world and that attended woman, and the world classic music in Marseille, France. We attended conference. Who are the only music that was listed on the chart? They listed Afro. May the soul of Fela and the rest peacefully and very well. The only music other than Afrobeat of Fela that was mentioned at the World Music Festival in Marseille, France, where I'm also on stage. I've been at the acoustic stage in England for Fuji. Fuji music is already sitting. It's already sitting among the world music. And we give glory to Almighty God that we are coming to understand truly who we are and what we stand for before we pass the baton to people coming next. He does it wonderfully. By the time the history will be presented after today, that a blood of Ayinde Barrister come and does it the same way our focus and the future is. That is another congratulation to the family of SAB. So what music already had Fuji sitting? I have presented Fuji at the woman successive years and years later. Thank you so much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite 3 people on stage to join me. I'd like to invite the only
propelling the gospel of Fuji music are now getting old. If you understand what I mean. All right.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, presence here. The reason why we call each other here was to celebrate an important thing in our life. And it commands so much respect when we have leadership of government, veterans, old fathers amongst us. In a setup like this, greeting is normal, but in a very fashion manner, simplicity and quietness. Don't let us lose the value of reason why we called you. Reason why many of you left Ibadan as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, left Abeokuta to be here in Lagos. Please give us the honor to celebrate this man with a lot of grandeur. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marigo. So as I was saying, the majority of those who are still flying the flag of Fuji are getting older. Marigo is 65. Majority, if you mention the top 10 Fuji artists or top 20, they are the same people that we have been listening to in the last 20, maybe 25 years. That is good on the one hand, but on the other hand, it simply means that maybe Fuji is not doing enough to bring up younger generation of artists. And one clear example would be that influencing younger generation of artists, I would say yes, we're not seeing it enough, but one that you cannot deny is the fact that Fuji is also influencing and inspiring artists in other genres. We watched a documentary now, somebody said Zazu is not music. Who says it's not music? It is content for a different level of audiences. And in any case, Kevin Kwara, I say everybody knows that if you trace the inspiration of Zazu, it's from his music, isn't it? You know, it's from Kevin Kwara, you know, Jejogi, Zazu in those days. Maybe it might be different in terms of how Portable has done his own. Olamide's brand of music stemmed from street. Street is Fuji. And then a bigger example will be Wizkid. When he first came at 21, with, what was that song with him? Sorry? Pakrumo. What would be the inspiration of Gomino Fashola, blah blah, Akinyo, and then, you know, and you are pre-singing a hip hop song? The inspiration is Fuji. When they have become bigger, winning Grammys, doing this and that, don't let them forget that part of the inspiration that propelled them to where they are today.
Thank you very much. That was a lot. Sir, to Mr. Mayor Akipelu, this is for you, sir. Majority of the new school are of the opinion that Fuji music is for the lower class. Yes. And lower class of the society. How best do you think this notion can be corrected, as the genre of music actually appeals to all classes of people?
Let me start by saying that assertion is wrong. Fuji music is not for the lower class of society. Music is universal, so there is not really class. What you have is genre, different genre, but it's not class. So that's not true.
Sorry, sir.
But the difference is that the evolution of Fuji, when you look at it, starting from Were to now become what it is. You know, initially when it was Were, it was basically to serve a religious purpose, wake up Muslims, for them to be able to do one of the tenets of Islam. Eventually, it was commercialized and it became Fuji, because you now see Nigerian artists now doing parties and being professional musicians instead of something that was supposed to be a religious that was to serve the particular purpose. But when you look at Fuji now, by the time you look at, if you remember the song that came on one time in Fuji, Barrister changed Fuji to what it is today. He was able to bring it to a higher level where it appealed. There was a cross appeal to a lot of people, and then people that came after at that time, Kebe Kwara too, because they were contemporaries. Both of them were able to, when they left the army, to be able to make Fuji to become a commercial music that appeals to a lot of people. Then people who came after them, like K1, has been able to now move it higher, introduce different things coming up to it. You now have guitar, you have piano, you have strings, and all that. So there's no way you can listen to it and say it's for the lower class. No, it's not. And when you look at, that's why it is important that Fuji must look at what the future should be. The future of Fuji will be, I will say that you can see the future of Fuji in the song that K1 released at the Orioke. And I will share that. I will share an experience with you. Last year, I was in Atlanta, USA, and some of my friends took me to a nightclub in Atlanta. It's a white club, so the DJ was a white guy. Apparently, one of these top comedians, AY, was also in the club that night. Maybe the guy had there are some Nigerians in the hall, so he started playing Nigerian music. He started with Other Boy, then he played Davido, he played Wizkid. Then when we were drinking, I just had and they started playing at the Orioke. I was excited because this is a traditional African music, you understand, being played in a nightclub by a white DJ, because he did not understand what Onwa was saying, but the reading, he could understand the reading, because the music was fast, the music was modern, and the music was danceable. So for Fuji artists must know that they have to do music that will appeal to the younger people. That is the future for them. They must do music that will appeal to the younger folks. And the music must be fast, it must be modern, and must be danceable.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. I think the reason for that question is, for most of us, while growing up, I had an experience with my dad. Okay, I had this neighbor, his name is Baba Farouk, I can never forget. When he went home in the morning, he was off with Fuji song. And I can remember very well, I was in the kitchen one day, so the man was playing, sorry, allow me like a song. So the allow, so when he was singing, I know the song, he made the song along. The next thing was, wow! What are you singing? There's so many Fuji music in my house. No, sir. I mean, my dad actually disciplined me that day. I would have loved to, know more about Fuji music, but I don't know why you just don't sing Fuji music, you can sing other songs. And I'm not the only one with the experience. Like the Vox Populi we heard, there's a lady that said same thing like that. Just don't sing Fuji music in the house. But it's actually interesting. Appealing. The lyrics, the sound, the tune, very interesting. That is why I asked that question, sir.
Can I just give it just two quick reactions to that?
Yes,
One is the fact that it's about perception. In Lagos State today, the language of social music is Fuji. And if you go to, and you can see that from Lagos State establishment, K1 Maigo is like the unremovable factor in Lagos State social life. And that's the top echelon of the social class. So so it's about perception. The other part is to liken it to our fixation with the premiership. A lot of people will tell you that in Nigeria today, maybe especially in Lagos State, there are those who support Chelsea.
Yeah.
A particular.
They are not a particular. but then that is the wrong perception of it. It's not. You know, the most urbane, the most intellectual, the most upwardly mobile supporters of the premiership in Nigeria are Chelsea fans.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Gunners for life!
Yes, I would also like to add as well for the future of Fuji music.
Okay, that's your question actually. Future of music.
And over 2 years now, we've been able to speak to certain target audiences, definitely the new millennials and Generation Z, as well, having conversations with them, creating entertainment formats, entertainment series, or should I call social events where we can interact with this younger generation. We started off with an exhibition in 2020, which showcased the rich culture of Fuji subculture. So it was not just about the music, but also about art as well, fashion. So it was through memorabilia and also archived footages and interviews where we honored Barrister in 2020. And then we commenced with a live music showcase. In 2021, we created like a Vox Pop series as well, going to Fuji communities, the core fans, and having conversations with them on where the genre is at the moment. And then we've been having amazing receptions from them as well. And then I can also say that we've created like a podcast series because we need to know the tools that we need to engage the newer generation of music lovers, using the likes of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Clubhouse as well, Twitter Spaces, where we can have conversations with this younger generation on how this genre can become bigger and keeping the genre alive, basically. So we've created podcast series as well in partnership with Fuman, who has been very, very supportive, interacting with a lot of Fuji artists as well. And it's available on different streaming platforms as well. And then in 2021, December, we created a unique music platform called Fuji Vibrations, where we acknowledged established artists, the likes of Alaji Merengue, the likes of Remi Aluko, KS1, Malaika, but not leaving the emerging new artists who are very, very relevant in today. So the likes of Adisa, Hemesi, Akani Ololu, and this platform was designed to just showcase this genre and keep it alive. And so I think that the future of Fuji music it's very imperative that we speak to the younger target audiences as much, and I agree with what Mr. Steve Ayinde said as well. I agree that there has to be some sort of fusion and then progression with the sound as well, but we should also showcase in different platforms, not just music, but also in arts, in different facets, which Fuji and Opera does.
Okay, sir. The last question. Okay, sir.
I'm sorry, but I also want to say something. The younger generation always insists on things being fast, being modern, and all that. But will that not lose the very essence of Fuji music itself?
No, it will not. You know why it will not? No, it will not. Why it will not is that if you look at Fuji, you know, because music is dynamic. At a time, Fuji music was dominating the music industry. In fact, Juju musicians were forced to start playing Fuji. Even in churches, you see that they play readings from Fuji. But at that time, it was still sectional. It didn't cut across the youth until Kwanwan did consolidation, which changed and appealed to the younger elements. It's like a hip hop thing, like the kind of thing that I said that is like infusing hip hop into Fuji at that time, and it worked. If you look at Juju, there have been a lot of successful Juju musicians. When Shino Peters did Afro Juju and it became very successful when it started with Ace, it's because the music was fast, the tempo was fast, it was danceable, and that is what usually appeals to the younger people. So because music is dynamic, for you to capture them, you have to appeal to them. Because all our superstars now that are winning Grammy, the only thing they are just doing is playing Afrobeat and then fusing it with traditional music. You understand? But people love it. It cut across. It was able to win Grammy. So you cannot lose without losing the essence of that music. You must broaden the scope of those you appeal to.
Okay, thank you very much. Just this last question, I would love Mr. Mayor Akibeli to answer, and Mr. Stephen, just in 1 minute. How can this generation of Fuji acts with evolved styles and sound be encouraged to achieve more without worry of their style not being accepted in the Fuji world?
Well, I mean, it's very simple. That actually goes in sync with what we got. There is no static style to music. Wizkid's music is not like Burna Boy's or David, but then it's still within the same genre of Afrobeats, even though I have a problem with that too. I don't know what it means. That shouldn't be what we should accept. But that's a different argument. So how can Fuji endure? Let them continue to play.
Okay.
Because like we said, the other time, the mere fact that it has survived in its original form for almost 50, 60 years means that there is substance in what is there. So let them continue to play. There is no youth that is a youth forever. Youth do grow to be adults. So they mature with the sound and the music. And therefore, what would be important in addition to playing good music, and good music is relative, it's not about content. The form, the style, and everything just have to appeal to the audiences. So what is important is to continue to, how do I put it, to ensure that Fuji music endures. And part of what that will require is in doing the kind of thing that Fuji Opera guys are doing. Create platforms where the elder ones can continue to play, and then you can discover new ones. And then let's do the kind of thing that TK is doing. Look at the way he has celebrated Ayinde Barrister. Now he's preparing to make a film about Barrister As good as, yes, absolutely, it's working on that. But as good as that is, let us also put it in our consciousness that our legends, our stars, our icons do not have to die before we celebrate them. So a biopic can be made for Baba Commander, Chief Ebenezer Obi, for Keben Kwara before they leave. An argument that I've had with my friends who have had the privilege of managing Bible for a long time is that how come we do not have a definitive biography or documentary, not a biopic now, about him? And I think that we had this argument when he was going to be 55. 10 years after, he has crossed 65. Are we waiting till he's 70? So don't let us continue to wait. Because the more we document them, the more we celebrate them, the more we will give good instructions and inspiration to the younger ones that there is a reason for them to continue to be Fuji artists.
Thank you very much, sir. What's the last one?
On a final note, my own advice to the younger Fuji musicians is for them to succeed. They must do in a better way what the Pathfinders are doing, because the ingredient for success is already in that music. You understand? Because when you look at Fuji, the evolution of Fuji from being Achiwere, I was using only Sakara. That was the dominant within the context there. But now you will see that there is Sakara, there is Akwala, there is guitar, there is sax, there is everything. It's because of the modernization of the music. So they have to learn from there to know that they must make their music to appeal across the board. They'll be successful.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. That'll be all.
So, just 1 second, if you don't mind.
Okay,
Beggar, please, I beg your pardon. I know that we're running out of time. I just thought that I should respond briefly to the very brilliant idea that Professor Otuade dropped the other time about creating a Fuji museum, something grand. All I would like to say that, frankly speaking, we do not need to wait for something grand before we cement the legacy of Sikiru Ayinde Barrister. And we have something ready-made, which is Fuji Chamber in Solo. You know, TK has been there. Might even mention something like that. Appeal to government, appeal to donor agencies, because if you rely on government alone, government also, you know, looks for money from donor agencies to build this kind of structures. So if you are saying let us have something grandiose, it may never happen or it may not happen soon. But then Fuji Chamber is there. We have 2 options. Is either the trust or the family of Sikiru Ayinde Barrister, you know, want to say, let us rebuild this thing and share, or give it to a developer. Or you make something, a legacy out of it. And these days, you know all the donor agencies that are giving millions of dollars for worthy causes like that. A Fuji museum, a resource center is what I see in Fuji Chamber. And it's really
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please, you know, like I said, I'm also a Fuji artist. I would like to meet these donors so they can turn my house to a resource center. Can I have a round of applause for Lord Mayor Akipelu, Mr. Steve Ayinde, my sister Kichi, and Mr. Goldmine. Please take a picture with the... They can have the prof. Can the prof please join us? Professor, thank you. Give me a key. Give me your key. Give me a key there. Give me a key. Even the professor sang, Èṣù má ṣe mí kankan, ibi ó ti bọ̀ ni ó lọ. Now, before we start singing, Mr. Bayo, please come to me. I'd like to welcome Dele Adawa, Alhaji Wasiu Sadiq, Tosin Eliba, and my son, Barry Jhay. Where's Barry Jhay? Barry Jhay has one of the finest voices in the hip hop industry right now. Where's Barry Jhay? That's one of the finest voices in the hip hop industry right now. He's not on the